Right, let's expand the conversation with international relations expert Professor John Stremlau. Very good evening to you. Thank you for your time, Professor. I mean, as the world marks 80 years since the horrific deaths, the use of nuclear energy has certainly come under the spotlight, especially listening to my colleague Kaelihle as well as Minister Botes. What's your take?
Well, my take is basically that South Africa is fighting the good fight, but the fight is going to take a long time because the UN is a collection of sovereign states, and they don't want to give up their sovereignty for any reason that that they think is important. And so it's extremely difficult to get to human equality from sovereign equality, but South Africa has taken a pioneering role in trying to do that, and the International Court of Justice appeal for the killings of Gazans, plausible genocide, was a step in the right direction, as just now President Mr. Botes said that non-proliferation is a goal.
So with that, how realistic is South Africa's goal of expanding peaceful nuclear energy, given its current energy and infrastructure challenges?
Well, everyone knows that this country has taken a leading role in non-proliferation because it destroyed the weapons that the old apartheid regime, with some help from abroad, developed in the preceding decades of the apartheid regime. Mm-hmm. But there is still the problem of convincing governments that, you know, the number of nuclear powers in the world has stayed at 9 for several years, and there is a risk that there will be a breakout ahead. And so the fact that 55,000 showed up from 120 countries in Hiroshima for the 80th anniversary was a good sign, but only a sign.
Yeah. So how then do you believe that Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, how do these bombings continue to shape global attitudes, towards nuclear technology, both military and civilian?
Well, again, it's up for the sovereign countries to decide how they will relate to this important question. You know, you have Donald Trump in the White House in the United States, and the U.S. is abrogating its traditional role of supporting non-proliferation by the fact that he is a nationalist and is trying to assert a global condominium of powerful states. And so therefore the work that has to be done by other powers, as I referred to South Africa, is in a different world now than in World War II. In World War II, the Churchill and Roosevelt had the Atlantic Charter, which maintained that it was everybody's right to choose the government that they want to live under, and that was heard by then Nelson Mandela, a young lawyer, and he championed that throughout his life, and successfully so, but only to the South African sovereign nation.
So as you touch on the US, considering the geopolitical space and what South Africa is contending with at the moment with the tariffs, really just trying to ensure that they don't implement them to that capacity. What are your thoughts as President Ramaphosa says he will negotiate as hard as he can? We know that International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola is also on that same momentum.
I think that the president and his cabinet are playing a constructive role, but not compromising their principles. Donald Trump has always singled out South Africa as a threat to his effort to consolidate power under what liberals consider an autocratic America. But he is 78 and will be leaving office in 3 years. It's a long time, but I think that South Africa is right to engage in practical negotiations on trade issues at the lower level, but not in any way compromise its core principles.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you for speaking to us this evening. We're going to have to leave that discussion there. International Relations expert, Professor John Stremlau.